Now we're back. Back with more casual gaming news on Friday. It's been what? 3 in a row? That's crazy. That's crazy. We got some stories to go over. Not a large amount like we've had recently, but I still had to nitpick the chat picks because there was a lot of chat picks. So I picked out about like half a dozen of them for us to go through, to go on top of the main stories. So let's get to it. Top to bottom, large, small chat picks, and then the developer dub, the dev dub at the end is what we're gonna try to do every time. Dev dub. Okay, going first, we've got Sega accidentally revealing sales numbers, which they apparently have not released before for a bunch of their more recent games. This is Andy Robinson, VGC. Sales numbers were included in a recent presentation document uploaded to Sega Sammy's investor relations website. A table of sales numbers was found to have been hidden in one slide of the presentation. It's been removed, but obviously the numbers have been archived. This is the list of previously unknown sales numbers. So Persona 5 Royale, including the remaster version, tops the list at 7.25 million copies sold. Wild. Next up, I believe, is one of the Sonic games. It's Sonic Frontiers, 4.5, and then after that, Team Sonic Racing. So the two Sonic games come in at second and third, with Persona 5 Royale bringing the big bucks. At the bottom of the list, Like a Dragon, The Man Who Erased Their Name, at slightly under 1 million, with Infinite Wealth doing 1.6, which is cool. That's pretty good. Japanese company released several critically acclaimed games in 2024, including Fantasio, Shin Megami Tensei 5, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. And they are now opening a store in Japan, a new Sega store in the Parco building, where we were months ago, where they had the Nintendo store, the Pokemon Center, the Capcom store, all those other stores in that same building. That's wild. We were there months ago. Fun times. Next up, the next few are all in the same category. So Build a Rocket Boy, the developer for Mind's Eye, has already announced some layoffs. This is Wesley Pool, IGN. So Mind's Eye developer Build a Rocket Boy begins layoff process amid disastrous launch, studio source says. Though it wasn't originally confirmed, it was employees from the developer that were mentioning it. Obviously, they were anonymous. One person said that there's no word yet on exactly how many staff were affected, but the standard 45-day consultation process starts today, June 23rd, so that was 5 days ago, which according to the UK law is triggered when an employer proposes 100 or more redundancies within a 90-day period. IGN understands Build a Rocket Boy currently has around 300 UK employees with around 200 abroad, and they asked for a comment, and they did respond. Build a Rocket Boy did respond saying, "We can confirm that we have had to make the painful decision to notify our hardworking team of some internal changes at Build a Rocket Boy. While we are working to reassign roles for as many of those impacted by these changes as possible, sadly, we are initiating a formal consultation process that may result in redundancies. This decision has not been made lightly, and we are committed to handling this process with transparency, fairness, and respect for all employees. We will provide further details to the team in the coming weeks." It's just all the time. All the time. Cuts could affect around 100 employees. We won't know for sure just yet. Still no update. But the game, I think there's more stuff about this game later on. Yeah, we have another story about this. But it's still not great reviews on Steam. Still has all the refunds that have been processed between Steam and PlayStation. Wild stuff. Wild stuff. But listen, IO Interactive, I think they did this right. IO is the publisher. Is IO Interactive, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yeah, publisher IO Interactive. They got the James Bond game coming out. Hopefully that makes up for it. Next, Netflix is continuing their assault on their own gaming plans by delisting a ton of games from their mobile app. This is Sarah Fielding and Engadget. So Netflix's game arm is struggling. The streamer is removing over 20 games from its library, including popular titles like Hades and all 3 Monument Valley games. and it follows the closure of Netflix's AAA gaming studio in October. So this it lists the games that are being taken out. You got Death's Door, some big hitters: Death's Door, Hades, Katana Zero, SpongeBob Bubble Pop Fun, Ludo King, a lot of stuff. While they all leave in July, the last day to play each game varies. For instance, Hades bows out on July 1st, while Death's Door available through the 14th. You can see when your favorite game will depart the streamer on Netflix's mobile app. And they've also scaled back, as we've talked about, their other interactive content on their streaming services, all the like interactive story-based things. They've taken them all out. And there's kind of a follow-up here on VGC. This is Chris Scullion. So they talked to a couple of the developers, same overall story. Earlier, before this happened, they delisted another Devolver game, and then they talked to Devolver. Devolver has confirmed to The Verge that it's in the process of trying to bring its Netflix exclusive titles to the App Store and Google Play as soon as possible. They said that we are looking at bringing games that leave services like Point B, Katana Zero, and Death's Door to mobile stores as premium titles. So that's from Devolver directly. There's no other developers that I could find that are making an attempt to release the games individually outside of built-in apps, but at least someone is, which is good. And leave it to Devolver to lead the way. I love that. Next, we got some layoffs at Microsoft. This is Jason Schreier at Bloomberg. If you follow him on Blue Sky, he usually posts all his gifted stories so you can read the whole thing without subscribing, which is awesome. Love that guy. Microsoft will conduct another round of major layoffs in its Xbox division next week as part of a company-wide reorganization. Managers within Xbox are expecting substantial cuts across the entire group, according to people familiar with the plans who asked not to be identified discussing non-public information. The company declined to comment. So this is more layoffs on top of all the previous layoffs. This is a story we've done already. We talked about all these, that in January, they confirmed that they wanted to scale back 10,000 employees, which is 4.5% of its workforce. So they've been slowly chipping away at that. Earlier last year, 1,900 staff were laid off, and then another 650. So it's an unspecified number right now, but they're rumored to be axing thousands of jobs. From what I've seen, according to a few articles, it's not uncommon for companies to make restructurings at the end of the fiscal years, which I guess for them is soon. I don't know, but it's from Microsoft gamers. Microsoft, thousands and thousands. That's already it for the big stuff. Like I said, we're basically caught up, so not a crazy amount of stuff today. For the smaller stuff, we've got some Blood of Dawnwalker extended gameplay. This is Andy Robinson, VGC. We'll skip through this VOD a little bit because it does show some cool stuff. So it's a lot of walking around.
Traveling through Vale Sangor and the direction of the attack.
Just blocking, parrying. Basically, you know, similar to Witcher gameplay, it looks like. And then you've got skill trees and stuff. You've got the map. The map looks pretty cool. I really like this map. Cutscenes. There's some night gameplay, which is pretty cool. This is cool right here. You can just walk on walls, which is awesome. Look at that. You can vampire walk. That rules. And then there's like a mini boss fight at some point as well. Yeah. He's clawing using his vampire claws. Cool stuff. Can't wait for this game to come out. I'm really excited about it. Next up, Xbox did drop a surprise VR headset collab with Meta. This is Andy Robinson, VGC again. So their patented green and black, which is pretty cool. It's super limited edition as of right now. When I first saw the story, it's already sold out. It's like $400. Yeah, $400 for this. Super limited edition. It comes with the full headset and I think the limited edition, yeah, and a limited edition controller as well. So you get the whole package. It's the Meta Quest 3S. I think it's the 128. Yeah, 128 package. But it's already completely gone. You can't, it's through Meta directly. It's already unavailable. Can't get it. But it's pretty cool that they just shadow dropped this basically. It's immediately sold out. Wild stuff. Next up, we've got some Amico updates. Huh? The Amico's coming back? Chris Scullion, VGC. So they've apparently released some of their made for console games already on PC, but they've announced that they're still kind of working on it, even though they sold the company and said they weren't able to do the console. It says it in here. So in November 2023, Intellivision said no longer has the funds needed to produce the consoles, and so launched Amico Home. Going back further, 2018, they said that we're going to launch in 2020, delays, still 2021, delays, and then 2023, they released the app, and then later that year, they sold Intellivision to Atari, renaming itself Amico Entertainment. Atari would receive the Intellivision brand and software library, but the Amico console was not part of the deal. And now Amico has announced that it still plans to release the console, but that in the meantime, it just released 2 of its games on PC and 3 on Switch. So it has released some stuff. I mean, this Evel Knievel game looks kind of cool, but like these other 2 games look super basic. This has motion controls on the Switch, this cornhole game. These games are being published by Happy Home Games, a sister company specializing in bringing Amico games to other formats, including mobile, PC, and now Switch. The expansion to new platforms is a major milestone in our mission to bring families together through gaming, the company said in a newsletter. It also moves us forward in our phased plan to eventually release Amico controllers and consoles. I cannot believe, after all this time, they told people, hey, we can't do it. But now they're saying, hey, we're trying to do it. This thing just needs to die. We need to stop with this already. It's Amico baloney. A little fun video. This is from GameSpot directly about Date Everything. Voice actor Ben Starr, who is in the game as the various doors, plays through the game and dates himself. So he just goes through all the Dorians, and he did all the voices for the doors, and he just starts dating. It's pretty fun. It's a fun video. This dude's funny. Anyway, I just thought that'd be a fun article to add in there. And we're caught up with regular stories. Let's go. Let's catch up on these chat picks, gamers. First up, we got a ton of patches and updates of Phasmophobia. Skim through these a little bit. This is from Phasmophobia, or from Kinetic Games directly. Okay, so the photo system has seen adjustments. Maximum photos a player can take in an investigation has been reduced from 10 to 5. So new types of photos can be gathered. EMF reading on an EMF reader, 3 ghost forms, physical dots, and shadow. Photo types, light switches. So you can now, there's more things to take photos of than there are photos you are allowed to take. Videos, total of 5 videos can be captured in a single investigation. They've released video recording. That's probably why they scaled down the regular photos. To capture video footage, players will need to hold down the use button while aiming the camera at the spot they wish to record. A new icon will display on the video camera, encouraging the players to record. Does it say how long the recordings are? It does not say. Interesting. They saw the other games were like, oh, we should put that in our game. Selection of recordable media, hunting, crucifix, ghost orbs, throwing objects, doors moving. So a lot of the ghost interactions. Sound recorder can capture more sounds. Overhaul the CCTV system in the truck, split into 3 sections. Cameras, video cameras, and head cameras. I love that. That's awesome. They can view up to 5 different live camera feeds at once while using CCTV interface. Players can record video media from the safety of the truck. So you can record from the truck. That's kind of nuts. But I'm a big fan of separating the head cams from the other cameras and the CCTV, because that's just obnoxious. Unique media. An important part of this update is to create more immersive ghost hunting experience by removing some of the frustrations players encounter while capturing media. Replace 3-star rating system with a new unique duplicate system. First time a piece of media is captured, it's marked as unique. If the same piece of media is captured, it will receive a duplicate mark, and you get less money. Perfect investigation alongside usual requirements. Players must fill their journal with unique media. Okay. 3 pieces of media can now be deleted during an investigation. That's awesome. Rewards progression. Higher tiers of photo camera, video camera, sound recorder will reward players with an additional monetary bonus. $1 for tier 2, $2 for tier 3. Okay. Optional objectives, 3 unique photos, 3 unique videos. User interface improvements, lots of changes. Crucifix now visually cools down after successful preventing a ghost or hunt. Consoles now default to last selected region rather than region with lowest ping. Load on Steam without internet connection. Goryo has increased chance of dots. Banshee can now change rooms. Players will no longer have to click to ready up button in single player. Interesting. And a ton of fixes. That's a decent amount of stuff, honestly. That's a decent amount of stuff. We'll jump back into this in the spoopy season, of course. Next up, we got that more stuff about Mind's Eye. It's an old story, but I just want to go through it. This is Rebecca Valentine. IGN. It's just to say that, like, hey, these comments that one of the co-CEOs made, they didn't age well. This is about when he was like, hey, they're definitely paying bots to negmod our game and leave bad reviews. It's definitely the bots. And then someone else was like, well, maybe we should just wait until the game comes out. And then the game came out, and guess what? It was still bad. So, you know, his comments didn't age well. I thought that was pretty fun. On a somber note, the narrator for Dark Souls 1 and 3 has passed away. Pixen Lim, or Lim Pixem, whichever. I've heard it both ways, but she was 80. And she did the... I rewatched this because this intro for Dark Souls 3 was just like so incredibly hyped.
Of the Lords of
It rules.
Converge.
This is her voice. It's we're not going to 3 minutes, but like once we get to this stuff, I forgot how hyped this trailer is. It's so cool. And then the crown. Oh my god. Why couldn't they make CGI trailer or narration for Elden Ring? What the fuck? It had to be pictures. It's so wild. So that's unfortunate. But I don't know if she was even contracted to do more stuff. Another story. Dark and Darker is going to be removed from Epic Games. This was a story I had to really dig to find, apparently. As brought to my attention from a screenshot of an email, but other people are getting this email. I haven't gotten this email. It might be because I don't currently have it installed. Maybe. But because of legal stuff, Dark and Darker is going to be completely removed and unplayable. Well, I think it's already removed, but it's going to be unplayable starting November 1st. This is Gabriel Machado. So the Epic Game Store will reportedly remove Dark and Darker from gamers' libraries on November 1st. Released in 2023, the center of legal battles recently. In a lawsuit, Nexon aimed at Dark and Darker, the publisher accused developer Iron Mace of copyright infringement due to illegally using Nexon's assets in the game. In recent developments for the case, the courts made Iron Mace pay around $5.7 million in damages. That's a lot for a small game like Dark and Darker. That's so much. For infringing the company's trade secrets while dismissing the copyright claims. This happened because the developers allegedly used assets from a game called P3, which was never released, and therefore not subject to copyright infringement claims. So now people are getting the email being like, "Hey, it's going away," which is unfortunate because they only just like a couple months ago said, "Hey, we're finally doing a PvE mode." That's so unfortunate because I really would have wanted to. I mean, I guess technically we still can. I don't know if it's even installable if you don't have it installed, but the PvE mode was something I was interested in. We'll see what happens though. All right, we're already almost done, gamers. This is great. I'm loving this. It's gonna be such a short edit. A little Overwatch update. Apparently, Bastion was too big. This is Tyler Cope, PC gamer. Blizzard thinks that Bastion was too big and too targetable, so they made him little. They made him 10% smaller. So now Bastion's small. He's definitely noticeably littler. I haven't noticed this. I don't know if this has been implemented yet. Is this season already started? It's supposed to be on this is from the 13th, but you know, TLDR, they decided after a bunch of reworks that it's better to just make him littler. Look how little he's, like the little brother. It has started already. Okay, so now you can play as little Bastion. That's so funny. I love that. I don't know if that's actually going to change any gameplay. All right, so we've got kind of a not a big story, but a long story. So an article came out about the development cycle in Dragon Age Veilguard. This is Jason Schreier, Bloomberg, but I wasn't able to get the gift link or whatever. I was able to go through a bunch of side articles. So for Dragon Age Veilguard, the TLDR, which is still pretty long in my notes here. So according to the behind the scenes, the game went from standard like Dragon Age single player RPG, like it's always been, and then they backtracked and said, no, we're gonna make it a multiplayer game. I'm sure we all remember when that happened. And then everyone was like, we don't want that. And then they went back to making it a single player game. So because of the whole going back and forth on the ideas there, they didn't do a fresh restart after they started the multiplayer like changing of it. So instead of doing that, they were told to make the game to change the game fundamentally on the fly as they were going. This was in development for like 5 years, something like that, 4 or 5 years. So they were constantly working towards releasing within like a year, at most 12 months. From when they started, they were always under the impression, hey, we got to get this out in the next year, even though the game was delayed like 3 or 4 years. And all of the developers were like, had we had known, or had they had set the date to 2024 at the rip, they would have had way more time to make long-term plans and changes and have a better idea and vision for the game. But because they were constantly being told to change, but keep within the release date, even though it eventually did get delayed, they had to keep doing things as fast as possible. They couldn't make the right changes, so it became kind of a mess story-wise. So that's the TLDR. Same kind of thing happened to Suicide Squad, apparently, and Mass Effect Andromeda. There was a lot more that went into Mass Effect Andromeda, though. It was a lot of the pre-production team spent way too much time trying to make the game into No Man's Sky before No Man's Sky was a thing. So they spent so much time trying to get that to work, even though there was just no current software or hardware that could get the game to that point, that as soon as they started regular production, they were already way behind schedule. So most of Mass Effect Andromeda, even though that game was in development for 5 years as well, it came out or was finished in the last like 2 years before it was released. So same kind of thing. They spent 3 years faffing about trying to work on stuff that just wasn't going to work, which just was detrimental to the game. Because for Mass Effect, they really wanted that game to be like No Man's Sky, where you can have a bunch of planets that you are traveling to and exploring and stuff like that. And it was all procedurally generated, which just there was nothing that was able to do that. It went down. There's like 7 planets in that game, so that's wild. We will play that game eventually once we get back to the Mass Effect series. So that's the TLDR of the development behind Dragon Age Veilguard and why a lot of people don't like it. We haven't played it. It looks fun. I'm not super into the Dragon Age story, so I'm not sure if that part will even bother me, but it looks cool. And we're gonna end with, because that's it, we're ending with our new favorite section that we love ending with every time, dev dubs. And this week's dev dub goes to Sandfall, the developer for Expedition 33. They're doing so well. They've done so well that the developer has teamed up with a high profile like British jewelry making company to make in-game jewelry as well as real life jewelry. This is, I don't know how I found this. This is a site called But Why Though, and this is Kate Sanchez. But they also made very super limited edition amounts of this real life sterling silver necklace based from the Verso characters design that was never for sale. They are just giving them out to people who, like, I think, what did it say? Community members and artists who have supported the game. They're giving them out. So that's pretty cool. How awesome is that? They're making real life, like, expensive shit to give to people that have been, helping out with the game. And they made some in-game stuff too, designed with, like, real life jewelry designers. Digital jewelry. Look, that's the thing. That's the necklace. That's awesome. And then another thing, this also, to follow up on Expedition 33, days ago, a full-length hour and 43 minute behind-the-scenes documentary has been released on SkillUp about the making of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. So feel free to give that a watch. It's long. I haven't watched any of it. I was just skipping through a little bit. It looks pretty interesting. I'll probably will watch it. I know some people who are really enjoying Expedition 33 that might want to take a gander of it. But SkillUp YouTube channel. An hour and 43 minutes. That's a full documentary right there. So this week's dev dub goes to, what is it? Sandfall for their great Expedition 33. I would say follow through, because they're following through with the success pretty similar to Larian, awesome stuff. And look at that. We've got a shorter gaming news. Let's go. And that's gonna be it for this week. Gamers, that was a fun time. I would love to keep it consistently around this time, because an hour is a long time to yap about stuff that I'm yapping basically to myself about. But thank you everyone that hung out. Check out the links in the chat, YouTube, Twitter, Discord, TikTok. But that's it for this week. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Appreciate you.